444, for me, 444 is the number. That's the number I see everywhere. Each time that, there's a message that's trying to, my guide is trying to communicate to me, I will see 444. Sometimes I can see that like 5 times a day or even more. Hello and welcome to Self Upgrade, your podcast to help you become your best version. I think I talked quite passionately about my spirit guide in the last few episodes. And some people, left comments asking me, and I also received messages asking me to talk a little bit about spirit guides and how I managed to connect with mine and how you can, how to help you guys develop that connection with your spirit guides as well. So first of all, for those of you who are like, what a spirit guide? What is she talking about? But if you're watching this video, you probably have an idea or about spirit guides. But in case you don't, I'm just going to tell you what spirit guides are. Well, spirit guides are actually spiritual beings, spiritual entities who are with us to help us basically achieve our mission, our purpose here on earth. Some actually can be with us just for a period of time. And your spirit guides will communicate with you differently. It depends on what you are into and how they feel is the best way to connect with you. So now I'm going to talk about how basically I managed to obviously know about my spirit guide and even get to know her name, because I know her name. And I will say for the last 2 years, that connection actually has developed quite a lot. So I'm going to share with you how I communicate with her, and like I said, how I managed to actually find out about her name. So first of all, for you guys to understand a little bit about me and how I function. Basically, I'm someone who loves to think aloud. I love to think aloud. For me to really process my ideas and to even help them to develop, even, to amplify them, I like to speak. And if you are in the spiritual community, you will understand that actually words have power. They amplify things. They are like an amplifier. Whatever you say, we manifest with our thoughts and also with our words. So knowing that, when I'm brainstorming, when I want to do something, I tend to talk a lot. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and then I'll do that. And then, within that process, lots of things that I didn't think about before will start emerging, and that's how the idea will amplify and will become bigger and better. So that's why I like to basically talk my ideas into reality, if I can say so. So I love to do that, but, because I didn't want my kids to be like, what is happening to mommy? Because what is happening to mommy? Or my husband knows me already. He knows that I love to do that. He met me, I was already doing it anyway. So when he sees me going like, okay, so what is happening? What am I going to do? He doesn't even, he just passes as if nothing happened, because nothing happens. It's just me speaking to myself, my higher self speaking to me. So to come back to, my guide, I do that. I speak to myself. A lot in my car when I'm driving, or I will just go somewhere, stay in the car and just talk. And, I will talk. And one day, I don't remember what topic I was talking about exactly, but I was talking and I was like, I started laughing. I was like, if this car could understand what I'm saying, I'm sure that it will be like these humans, or, it will be judging me. And then I was like, okay, just to, because we know that atoms, like everything is made up of atoms. So I was like, okay, anyway, maybe this car is conscious. Who knows? So I was like, okay, so Can you hear what I'm saying? Just, I was just joking. I didn't expect to get anything back, but I was like, can you understand what I'm saying? If so, do you have a name? And then when I said, do you have a name? And actually, I just wait, do you have a name? And sort of just went quiet. Not because I was expecting the call to answer back, but I just said that and then went quiet. And I heard in my head, like telepathically, I heard Ariane, because, I was speaking French. I'm French speaker. So when I was talking, I was addressing, like I was communicating in French. And I heard in my head, Ariane. I was like, who's talking? Ariane. And then I was like, oh my God, the car just told me that it's called Ariane. I was like, oh my God, am I getting crazy? What is happening here? And I was like, oh, Ariane. So that is your name. Because what was weird with that car, I was feeling like a presence. I was feeling a connection with the car. And I was like, this is silly. Like, how can I love my car, but having this connection, I don't know. There was just a presence, like, the car loved me and I loved it back. And that connection, for instance, just to give you an example, when the car, because it was an old car, so when the car, a couple of times the car broke down. And I was like, oh my God, no, not now, please. And I will talk to the car. I'll be like, you know what, please just get me home. I promise to take you, to the garage and, get you fixed and to do whatever basically you need, basically just work, just get me home. And then I will take you to the garage and get you fixed. And each time, like, twice, it broke down twice. And each time when I will say that, and then, it will start like functioning again. I was like, okay, thanks God. I mean, that's probably just a coincidence, I will say to myself, but it repeated itself again. So I will thank the call, like, oh, thank you, and stuff like that. So for me, asking the name and getting that, answer back wasn't that surprising, because I was already like, in my journey, in my spiritual journey. So I was like, oh, wow, Ariane is your name. So to come back to my spirit guide, Ariane. So, I told my daughter, because I want my daughter also to grow up as an intuitive person and also to know about spirituality. She's now 10. So I openly talk to her about these things, and she understands me. And, I want her to know what I know now, because if I knew everything that I know now, I think I would have been a completely different person, but it's my journey. So I tried to, to teach her everything that I learned, basically. And I came into the house and I was like, Jazz, you won't believe this. The car is called Ariane. And I told her, and we started laughing. It was just like a joke, but it did happen. So we laughed, and then we were just calling the car Ariane. And then, I kept repeating, numbers, and 444, for me, 444 is the number. That's the number I see everywhere. Each time that, there's a message that's trying to, that my guide is trying to communicate to me, I will see 444. Sometimes I can see that like 5 times a day or even more when I need to take action or when I need to understand something. So yeah, 444 is a very significant number for me. And if you'd like, I can talk about numerology, because that's something I learned and I'm using quite a lot in my life. And I feel like, it's a blessing to know all those things. So I will definitely talk about this in another episode. But to come back to my guide, that happened, the situation in the car. And then I went on holiday to Mayotte because I'm from a small island in the Indian Ocean called Mayotte. So I went there to visit my mom. It was just before she passed. And when I went there, I have a friend who is a medium. She's like greatest, she's a great person. And each time that we meet, we'll just be talking for hours and I remember going to see her and we started talking about, different things and one thing leading to another. We started talking about her guide and, different stuff. And I was just, curious about the relationship and, how it works, how does she receive guidance and all that. So, as we were talking about her guide, and she's like, do you want to know if you have a guide? I know, no, she said, do you want to call your guide? I was like, do I have a guide? Do I have a guide? And she basically said, yeah, everyone has a guide. Everyone. I was like, everyone? Then yeah, call her. And then she called my guide. She came. And when she came, because she's a lady, she has a female energy, let's say. So when she came, as soon as, before my friend told me that the guide was there, I just felt like, chills, like all over my body. It was weird. It's just like, it just chills everywhere, especially my legs. So yeah, I wasn't prepared. I didn't know what to say. So, obviously I had many questions, but it's not every day that, someone tells you, okay, your guide is here. You can talk to her. So I was like, okay, what's her name? And you are going to be amazed at what I'm about to say. Because the medium said, actually, you can talk to your guide and your guide, whatever she says, I will tell you. So I asked her, what's your name? And when I asked her what's your name, she said, you already know. You already know. I was like, what? And I told the medium, no, I don't know her name. I didn't even know until now that I have a guide. So how can I know her name? So the medium was like, she's insisting that she told you her name. I was like, what? I was like, I don't know. And then she started that guessing game. She was like, but it wasn't really a guessing game because I have the impression that she sent that image into my head. Because as soon as she was insisting, and that image just came back to my head of me in my car talking to the car. And I was like, oh my God, is her name Ariane? Ariane? And she says, it's almost that, but you didn't get it right. I was like, okay, so it's not Ariane. So what is it then? And then the medium took a pen. She was trying to say her name, but the medium for some reason was just messing it up. So she was like not happy about that. And she basically asked her to take a pen and paper. And then she wrote her name. And I had the pen, I had the little note until recently. I don't know what I did with it, but I had it. And basically the medium wrote her name. And then, she used the medium to write her own name. And I've known the medium since, we were little kids, basically. So I know her writing. And when she was writing, the writing was like completely different, like beautiful. And not saying that, the medium has an awful writing, but just to say, the writing was really, it wasn't her writing. Let's just say that. So she wrote her name, and her name was Annie Anne. But because, it was telepathically and it's not something that we are used to, I just, I just, took what was the closest to that for me, which was Ariane. So Annie Anne, and I understood Ariane, Annie Anne. So when she said Annie Anne, Annie Anne, I was like, oh wow, so Annie Anne, Ariane, Annie Anne. I was like, wow, amazing. So that's your name. And she's like, yeah, but you can just call me Annie. And ever since, I've always referred to her as Annie, Annie. And she's amazing. Like each time that I call her, she comes and, when there's something that I need to pay attention to, like I feel the chills, I feel her presence. And, initially I didn't know that, like now, just, it's, okay, that was, I mean, it's not weird because this morning, like she's been with me and I feel her presence. So the way I feel it, like, because I used to feel those chills, like all over my legs from my feet up until my knees. And, I didn't really understand what it was. And it was that medium who told me whenever you feel that, it's her letting you know that she's around. I'm not saying that it's going to be the same for you. It may be something completely different, but usually chills, chills like that, usually, it's a presence, a spiritual presence. And in your heart, you know that it's a loving presence because the way I was experiencing her before knowing that actually she, it was her, it was my, guide trying to let me know that she's there. I was experiencing her like a very loving presence. Like I knew I wasn't alone. I knew that there was someone around, but I wasn't scared because I knew within my soul. That's the only way I can say deep within my soul. I knew that it was a loving presence. It was not someone who was there or something that was there to harm me, but it was someone or it was a being or a presence that was loving, that was there because they like me, because they love me. That's how I was, feeling the presence before knowing that actually I had a guide and it's that guide whom I experienced that way. So yeah, that's how amazing it can be. And you're going to ask me, okay, now you know that you have a guide, she's there. So what does she do? What do you do with her? Well, it's amazing. It's amazing to know that I'm not alone in this and you are not alone either. Just to let you know, whether you believe in this or not, they are still around. Just to tell you something, my nephew, we basically, we were talking and my friend, the medium came at the time and my nephew was around and he, he believes in God and all that, but in, guys and all of this thing, that wasn't his things. And actually, because he thinks like that, his guides actually were distant. Like he managed to basically disconnect his guide. Like his guide were completely, when I say his guides, because he apparently has, several guides at once. For me, until now, I only know Annie. I don't know if there are other guides, but right now, the only guide that I'm aware of is Annie. But for him, he had that huge group. He had that group of guides who were there, but maybe because he was not listening, maybe because he was completely ignoring them for years. Maybe that's why they were like helping each other to connect to him. I have no idea, but he has several guides and the guides are completely distant from him because I think they've been trying to connect with him and he just is not willing to create that connection. So my friend, told him that like, yeah, your guides are here, but they're not even coming close to you because you created that distance between you and them. That's something that you need to be aware of, that, you can do that as well. You can draw them closer to you, just as you can actually, get them to be distant and just to look around instead of guiding you. So, with Annie, basically, whenever I have troubles, whenever I'm not feeling well, whenever I need guidance, whenever I'm feeling lost, I know that she's with me. She shows that she's there and she's ready to guide me. And basically, all I need to do is to tell her what I need in the moment. So whenever I feel that she's there, or if I need to talk to her, I just call her. And when she's around, I will feel the chill on my, my legs. And, when she's there, I will just tell her everything that I need to know. And, throughout the day, she doesn't talk to me. Sometimes she's funny. She can be very funny at times. For instance, I remember one day, I was going somewhere and, I was in the car driving and I was like, I was going to go to the right direction. And for some reason, I just decided to go, in another direction. And because of that, I got late, to my meeting. And when I was coming back, I was like, I really, really need to listen to my intuition, don't I? And it's as if someone told me, she probably did, as if someone told me to turn around, and I turn around and I see 444, meaning yes, you do. So, I mean, now it didn't come just like that, but it's basically took me time to get to, get used to knowing that there's actually a spiritual being who is there to help me, to support me, to guide me in this journey, and to get to connect with her. So now I think I got into a very good place because I know, if I need an answer, I know basically she sent me messages and I know that actually it was her. And sometimes she also connects with me in dreams. If, for instance, she tried to send me a message and I didn't get it, she will show up in my dream. I never saw, she didn't materialize that, she doesn't show her image, but the medium said that she's beautiful, like she looks like a fairy. So, but she never showed up, like, if, she doesn't show her face. I just hear her voice, like in my dreams, or I'm somewhere and, someone tells me or answers exactly the question that I've been, pondering throughout the day or stuff like that. So she brings me those answers. When I don't understand her messages in the waking state, she basically, in my dreams, she tells me what I need to hear. So that's how I receive the guidance from my guide. And, if there's something that I can, advise you to do if you want to get to connect with your guide, is to, first of all, avoid, to be in low vibes, because low vibrations only, if you are living in a very low vibration state, meaning that you are angry all the time, you are, depressed, you are, worried, you are fearful, all those types of, frequencies tend to actually, get them to actually get away from you instead of drawing them close to you. So when you are fearful, when you are, anxious, they find it very hard to come close because they are very high vibrating, beings. So it's very important for you, if you want to connect with them, especially, to actually, put yourself in a state of relaxation, to be very, very relaxed. They love that. I remember, one day, my friend, the medium, called me and, we were on the phone and I was really, I was vibrating like high, very high. I was happy. The house was breathing with so much, so much, joy and so much, I just felt good, and everyone around me, because when you feel good, you tend to spread it, So the kids were great. They were happy, and my husband and everyone was so happy. So, the vibration was so high. I was playing music and feeling great. And then, my friend, the medium, called me and she was like, wow, what is happening there? I was like, well, what do you mean? She was like, yeah, you guys, I can see Annie. She's there with you and she's so happy. She's overly happy. She's overjoyed. And I was like, oh, she's probably reflecting what I'm feeling now. And, so basically, if you want them to, to love to be with you, you need to try to tap into those high frequency, states. And for me, the way it happens, the way if I feel like, today, I'm not feeling great, what I will do is, I will go for a nice shower. And during the shower, I have my rituals, if I can say, because I love to talk to the water. You're like, oh, what? Yes. I talk to the water because I'm sure that you probably have heard about that experiment by a Japanese, professor who did an experiment on water to find that actually water respond to whatever you said to it. If you send a positive energy, it becomes like, it's crystallized when you put it in the freezer. It's crystallized into a beautiful crystal. Like, it looks amazing. And, if you say something rubbish or something very, very nasty, it will reflect that as well. So it's very important for us to be aware of that. And for me, what I do is before washing myself, I talk to the water. And if this is something that you want to hear about, if you want me to develop a bit more on this, please let me know in the comment and I will make sure to share this with you. Like regarding what I say and how I say it and, stuff like that. So, I go and wash myself, with my ritual. And then that helps me already to raise my vibrations. And then, if I have, I'm still feeling like there's still quite a lot left there, I will do some breathing, breath work, or I will meditate. So yeah, because you have to, try to cultivate that, the high vibrational state for you to be able to tap into, your guides and even your guardian angels. So, and the archangels as well. So yeah. Yeah. So I will cover all those. I will talk about the angels because I had amazing stories about angels. And, if you want to hear about those sooner, just let me know in the comments. Amazing miracles and stuff. So I will talk about this. I will talk about this. Okay. So my guide, that's how I do. And you, like I said, be in a very high vibrational state, whatever makes you happy, whatever, it can be music like me. I love music. I love, I love, Karen Drucker. I hope that's how you say it. Karen Drucker. Okay. Yeah. And, I listen to, all types of music. That's reggae music. Oh my God. Reggae music just, raise, not all of them, they are not reggae music, because reggae music, most of the time they have like, very meaningful, messages to it. And I listen to those and it just helps me to raise my vibration and to feel high and to open up basically the doors to that type of communication. So do something like that. The more you do it, you will start to, and also watch the, or listen, to the episode about, intuition. Because once you are in that high vibrational state, now intuition just flows. And that intuition is just another name to say your guide or your guardian angels. So it's all, it's all boils down to the same thing. So it's all about you basically cultivating the high vibrational state. And, your guide will be drawn to you and they will understand. And you can also talk to them. You can say, okay, I know that I was not aware that I had a guide. So now that I know, Please manifest yourself in my life. Please help me in this journey. I'm open to receiving your guidance. Talk to them, in your own words. You don't need, or you can pray. If you love to pray, and, whatever works for you, do it, but let them know that you are ready to receive the guidance. And then when you say that, don't just say, oh, I'm ready to receive the guidance. Just like that. No, feel it in your heart, because if it's fake, if you're just saying that like that, they will know and they won't do anything. But if they feel like, okay, she's ready now or he is ready now, then they will manifest into your life and they will transform your life. Definitely. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Make sure to check the other videos, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to check the other videos that we already shared, and if you are listening, make sure to subscribe through whatever platform you are listening to this podcast, and then I will see you in the next episode, in the next video.